Welcome students. In the last video, we discussed the definition, evolution and status of psychology in India. Today we will explore the various branches of psychology in detail. So, let's begin. Psychology encompasses various branches, each focusing on different aspects of human behavior and mental processes. Psychology branches into pure and applied fields, each serving distinct purposes. Pure psychology focuses on theoretical aspects, aiming to expand knowledge about mental processes and behavior. These include branches like cognitive psychology, which studies thought processes, and developmental psychology, which explores psychological growth across the lifespan. Applied psychology, on the other hand, uses this knowledge to address real-world problems such as clinical psychology, sports psychology, etc. Applied branches are interconnected with pure psychology, providing the foundational theories that applied psychology uses to solve practical challenges. Let's discuss some important fields of psychology in detail. Cognitive psychology investigates mental processes involved in acquiring, storing, manipulating, and transforming information received from the environment. The major cognitive processes include attention, perception, memory, reasoning, problem solving, decision making, and language. Cognitive psychologists conduct experiments in laboratory settings and sometimes follow an ecological approach focusing on environmental factors to study these processes in natural settings. They often collaborate with neuroscientists and computer scientists. Biological psychology explores the relationship between behavior and the physical system, including the brain, nervous system, immune system, and genetics. Biological psychologists frequently collaborate with neuroscientists, biologists, and anthropologists. Neuropsychology, a subfield of biopsychology, studies the role of neurotransmitters and brain functions, often using advanced technologies like electroencephalography or EEG, positron emission tomography or PET, and magnetic resonance imaging or MRI. Developmental psychology examines the physical, social, and psychological changes that occur at different ages and stages over a lifespan, from conception to old age. This branch focuses on understanding how people grow and change throughout their lives. Developmental psychologists aim to understand how we become who we are, with a long-standing emphasis on child and adolescent development. However, today's developmental psychologists are increasingly interested in adult development and aging. They focus on cultural and environmental influences on psychological characteristics such as intelligence, cognition, temperament, personality, and social relationships. Developmental psychologists collaborate with anthropologists, educationists, and neurologists, as well as social workers, counselors, and experts from various fields concerned with human growth and development. Social psychology examines how individuals are affected by their social environments and how they think about and influence others. Social psychologists study attitudes, conformity, obedience to authority, interpersonal attraction, helpful behavior, prejudice, aggression, social motivation, intergroup relation, and cultural influences on thought. Cultural psychology, a branch of social psychology, emphasizes the role of culture in shaping human behavior, suggesting that behavior is a product of both biological potential and socio-cultural context. Environmental psychology explores how physical factors such as temperature, humidity, pollution, and natural surroundings impact human behavior. This field also investigates how the physical arrangement of workplaces affect health, emotional states, and interpersonal relationships. Current research topics include waste disposal, conservation, and the extent to which population explosion and energy efficiency in community resources are associated with human behavior. Health psychology focuses on the role of psychological factors such as stress and anxiety in the development, prevention, and treatment of illness. Health psychologists study how these factors affect health and work on enhancing health promoting behaviors. Key areas of interest include stress and coping mechanisms, the patient doctor relationship, and strategies to promote overall health. Clinical and counseling psychology addresses the causes, treatment, and prevention of various psychological disorders such as anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. Clinical psychologists focus on diagnosing and treating serious psychological issues. In contrast, counseling psychologists help individuals improve everyday functioning by solving daily problems and coping with challenging situations. While their work overlaps, counseling psychologists often handle less severe issues and frequently assist students with personal problems and career planning. Psychiatrists also study the causes, treatment, and prevention of psychological disorders, but there are key differences between clinical psychologists and psychiatrists. Clinical psychologist holds degree in psychology with intensive training in treating psychological disorders, while psychiatrists have medical degrees with specialized training in treating such disorders. Psychiatrists can prescribe medications and administer electroshock treatments, whereas clinical psychologists cannot. Education psychology examines how people of all ages learn and develop educational methods to enhance this process. Educational psychologists work in various settings, including schools, to design programs that support the intellectual, social, and emotional development of children, including those with special needs. They apply psychological knowledge to improve learning outcomes in educational environment. Industrial organizational psychology focuses on workplace behavior, addressing both the needs of workers and the organization that employ them. These psychologists are involved in training employees, improving their work conditions, and developing criteria for employee selection. For instance, an organizational psychologist might recommend structural changes to improve communication between managers and staff. Their training often includes elements of cognitive and social psychology. Sports psychology applies psychological principles to improving sports performance by enhancing athletes' motivation. This relatively new field focuses on helping athletes achieve their best by addressing mental and emotional factors that impact performance. The interdisciplinary focus on research and application in psychology has led to the emergence of various specialized fields, each addressing unique aspects of human behavior and societal needs. These fields include aviation psychology, that studies the behavior of pilots and other aviation personnel to improve safety and performance in the aviation industry. Space psychology focuses on the psychological challenges faced by astronauts during space missions, such as isolation, confinement, and the effects of long duration space travel. Military psychology examines the psychological aspect of military life, including training, combat stress, and the mental health of service members and veterans. Forensic psychology applies psychological principles to legal issues, including criminal behavior, courtroom dynamics, and the assessment of offenders. Rural psychology addresses the mental health needs and behavioral issues specific to rural populations, considering the unique challenges and resources of these communities. Engineering psychology studies the interaction between humans and machines, aiming to design equipment and systems that enhance human performance and safety. Managerial psychology focuses on behavior of individuals and groups within organizational settings, aiming to improve management practices and workplace productivity. Community psychology examines the relationship of individuals within communities and the wider society, focusing on social issues, community health, and well-being. Psychology of women studies the unique psychological experiences and issues faced by women, including gender roles, identity, and mental health. Political psychology investigates the psychological underpinnings of political behavior, including voting patterns, leadership, and policymaking. These varied areas highlight the broad applicability of psychological principles across different domains and underscore the importance of interdisciplinary research in addressing complex human challenges. For today, that's all. We will discuss next topic, psychology and other disciplines, in the next video. Stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you, students.